there's always two instances when people allow the truth to come out.
Well, I didn't know that. This is played by Elder Bird here. Beg Gomer, which is played by myself.
Or CRS. Can't remember stuff. Hello, and welcome to Tete. I'm Elder Charles Bird.
And I'm Tonda Mingus. Welcome to Tete, everyone. We are happy once again to be here with you this evening. And before we get started this evening, we want to take just a few moments of silence just to acknowledge the untimely death of Kobe Bryant. He passed away on January 26, 2 weeks ago. And so, yeah, we just want to take just a few moments of silence. Okay?
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Okay. Now, before also we get started, I want to just but let you all know that we are kind of in a piloting stage with Tete. Mm-hmm. So with that, you've probably noticed that we're doing things differently each week. We've been trying different scenes, settings, topics, whatever. We are coming down to getting one and sticking to it. But we also want to let you know that even our topics are going to be very interesting. They're going to be not all the time what you expect, but you will enjoy it. We want to engage you, our viewers. So we're doing a lot of things. We're testing a lot of things, and we appreciate your patience with that.
Yes.
Okay. So with Kobe passing away, Elder, tell us a little bit about Kobe, because I know you've got some information just coming from a male perspective with basketball.
Well, I know as a father, you've begun to appreciate him more. He had the ability to just throw money at different situations, but he talked about promoting the WNBA, but like most things, charity starts at home. He started with his daughter, giving nurturing and tutelage as it relates to the basketball. Her dream was to play for the WNBA, and he took an active interest. That's one of the things I just really like about him. He took an active interest. He was involved. Particularly now that he had the time to kind of do that. And I just admire him for doing that. I admire the fatherism, the nurturing part of his life. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a major part of his legacy. Yeah. It's a major part of who he is. Oftentimes in the counseling industry, we always talk about who are you when the curtains are closed and the doors are locked and the shades are down. Who is that person? Mm-hmm. And I think he exemplified great leadership as a father, investing both mentally, physically, theoretically, as well as financially into the future of his daughter. And I just admire him for that. And then he was a great basketball player. One of the best, let's make it crystal clear, one of the best basketball players, and he had 5 rings. Yes. That ain't easy. No. You just think about the people who don't get an opportunity to play in the championship, don't make it to the playoffs, don't make it, period. This gentleman had 5 rings. And then I think there was a championship or 2 that he lost. So you got to really admire his ability to always want to win. Yeah. The other thing I was impressed with was a man that will take 400 or 500 shots before and after practice. That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. He was dedicated.
Absolutely.
Dedicated to his game.
Yes. And I would often look at some of his shots and say, man, how did he do that? But if you want it bad enough, it will happen. That's right. I think Kobe proved that.
Yes. There's a lot of people that but this is in sports, period. I played basketball in school, so yes, I do know a little bit about sports.
You sure do.
But yeah, there were some people that didn't care for Kobe, and I'm sure a lot of it was, out of jealousy because of his skill. other people just didn't like him just because they just didn't like him, because people have their favorite sports figures, you know?
Well, sometimes you play for the wrong team, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, that's true. So, but I loved Kobe. I actually did. He was one of my favorite basketball players, and it was a sad day. We were actually filming the day that we found out that Kobe passed away. We were just finished, and I looked on my phone, and I was like, oh my gosh. You know, it was such a shock. You don't expect, number one, for someone his age to just be gone. And then, of course, we don't expect someone in the public eye like that to just pass away. So yes, it was very shocking, and even today, it's unbelievable.
Heroes come and go,
but legends are forever.
But you know, as time will go on, I believe his legacy will get deeper.
Yeah.
Because more information will come out about his leadership,
Yes.
about his ability to invest.
Mm-hmm.
About the things that he cared about and was very passionate about the things that he cared about. Obviously, he was a family man.
Right.
And he didn't like to lose.
Right.
And so once you put it all together, you know, Kobe Bryant will live in infamy.
Yes, he will.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he will. So that brings us to talk about the interview.
Yes.
The infamous interview
Yes.
with Gayle King and
Yes.
Lisa Leslie. First, I'll say this, is that, you know, it's bad enough in the African American community that a lot of times we do not support one another. We instead tear one another down. So that it's not enough even to say that it's bad enough. But when you get on national television as a reporter, just to get a story, okay, just to get ratings and your numbers and all of that, and you bring up issues that were talked about eons ago, about an individual that just passed, you know, the dust hasn't even settled over his grave. In fact, he wasn't even in the grave yet. And you get a fellow, I shouldn't call her a fellow basketball player, but you know, she is was in the WNBA, Lisa Leslie. But you bring somebody that was one of his good friends in, and you want her to sit and talk about him and his past with you, that has nothing to do with him and his daughter perishing in a plane crash.
It's been said that his legacy is complicated because of the sexual assault charge, which was dismissed in 2003, 2004. Is it complicated for you as a woman, as a WNBA player?
Yeah.
Like, it is the most
insensitive.
It's ignorant. It's crass. It's mean. It's evil. And I applaud Lisa Leslie because she did not allow Gayle to get her caught up into that mess. You know, it's because it's messiness. You know, it's like watching one of the what are those shows? What do we call them?
One of those reality shows.
The reality shows. It's like one of the reality shows. You know, it's just a bunch of messiness. And but Lisa Leslie, I applaud you for not allowing her to get you caught up into that. When she was asking Lisa, you know, well, she was implying that Lisa knew something about Kobe's behaviors around women and things like that. And when Lisa Leslie didn't buy into it, it was amazing of Lisa Leslie.
It's not complicated for me at all. Even if there's a few times that we've been at a club at the same time, Kobe's not the kind of guy, never been like, you know, Lisa, go get that girl, or tell her, or send her this. I have other NBA friends that are like that. Kobe's, he was never like that. I just never have ever seen him being the kind of person that would do something to violate a woman or be aggressive in that way.
You know, deeper still, as we said in the production meeting, I'll say it here, we were always taught in being reared that if a person has gone home, and number one, if he couldn't say nothing good, don't say nothing at all.
That's right.
This gentleman, for all intents and purposes, you know, his brain is still, his mouth is glued, his heart has stopped beating. Mm-hmm. You know, give him his flowers. Pardon me, I'm sorry. Give him his flowers. What he did, none of us is perfect. We have all made mistakes,
right.
but he has done so much good. You know, let's talk about that. Let's talk about him being a father. Let's talk about him being a legend. Let's talk about him being a champion. And you're right. Lisa Leslie shut it down. She was a former WNBA ball player for the Los Angeles. I can't think of their name.
Can't either, but I watched them all the time.
She played for LA.
Yeah.
And so basically, when she said, what was the outcome of the trial? You know, let's deal with the facts. Okay, the young lady, the accuser, did not show up. And she said, and I like the way she said, well, let's leave it there then.
That's right.
It went to trial.
Yeah, well, it was dismissed because the victim in the case refused to testify, so it was dismissed.
And I think that's how we should leave it.
You know, it's a done deal.
That's right, it's dead.
You know, why are you bringing up or try to vilify such a great man? And I think that that's something that is going on too long in society.
Yeah.
It is an opportunity given at all time that we have a tendency to vilify each other or to put everybody down because you may or may not like it. But let's look at the facts. The facts is this was a great man. He could have done a lot of different things, but he did. He chose some great things.
Right.
Let's talk about those. And I think that's the part we wanted. I was totally personally offended when she used the words, will this interrupt his legacy?
Yeah. Wasn't that something?
That was a purpose of degrading
Yes.
and putting a person down
Yes.
at a time like this.
Yes.
Now, you know, I like Gail. I like her accomplishments. But I think it's horrible when people go out and really have a purpose or a statement, a question that is totally going to have a negative impact against such a great person. I'll leave it alone.
Absolutely. And the timing, timing is everything. And this just wasn't the time to bring up that type of information. The man just passed away with his daughter, with their daughter.
Being a father.
Yeah.
Come on.
Just think about his wife and what she is going through right now, what she was going through when this interview was taking place. When she saw the interview, hopefully she didn't see it during that time.
But
it wasn't the place for that to go on, nor the time, just terrible timing.
then you got to ask yourself a question. Is there ever a time
No, it's
to
not.
really bring up somebody in such a degrading manner, bring
No.
up the bad points?
No,
We have all made mistakes and we have all done things that we regret.
that's right.
I don't think any of us want to be reminded of what we did. I think when personal relationships become community events, you tread on sad waters, because it's not a community event and there are boundaries, and
Yes.
these boundaries must be in place.
Yes.
No matter what the conditions are, no matter what personal opinions I may be going about a person who created a situation or mistake, let it go.
Well, the thing too is that, it turned into this thing of her backpedaling. Gail, I'm speaking of, now all of a sudden you didn't know what the question was that you were going to ask. Yes, you did. You knew what the question was that you were going to ask, because you had to know what to speak to before you got on there and started that interview. So let's just keep it real, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a driven
kidding me? We have to
question.
know.
Yeah, the question was
We
driven.
have to know what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Right.
And we're not even on professional TV.
Right. But you have a plan set, and you have a mindset, you have a plan set, and that question was driven. Let's face
yes,
it. It
absolutely.
wasn't one of those questions that just happened to come up
Right.
in the radar of your mind.
Right.
It was a driven purpose question, and it was presented to cause different reactions.
Absolutely. It was calculated and it was premeditated.
I get it.
And everything else
I'm
you
with
want to
you.
call it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, she knew exactly what she was going to ask her.
Absolutely.
And then you want to, it's, what is it? Was it CBS? NBC?
CBS.
CBS. So now CBS's problem or CBS's fault. Oh,
The other thing, I said I was going to leave it alone.
you don't have to
But
leave it alone. Let's do it.
when I heard that she said that she was going to have an intense conversation with CBS and some of its producers or editors or what have you, you know, they can only play what you give them.
That's right.
If you hadn't said this, they wouldn't been able to play that. So I think
Thank
the
you.
onus comes right back to where it comes out the mouth. You know,
That's
a lot of
right.
times you tell us, you know, you need to count to 100 before you say something,
Mm-hmm.
particularly if it's something that's going to be such a touchy subject.
Yeah.
You know, again, if you can't say anything good about a person, let's talk about it. Let's take that around the block for a moment. If you can't say anything good about a person, you got to think, you know, why do I want to speak evil of someone unless you know it's true, but there's still a timing and a place for that
Yes.
to take place.
Yes.
And international TV or interview was not one of them.
No.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't. Sorry,
Yeah.
Gail, you're wrong on this one. You are absolutely wrong.
Absolutely.
So, and I think most of America agrees with that,
Mm-hmm.
if not all.
You know, and I feel sorry that she has the death threats.
Oh yeah.
I think that's unnecessary.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
is.
to bring that up, I think the mere fact that she's being threatened is wrong.
Yes.
You know, you can tell a person wrong without trying to take their life or insinuating
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's
or bullying.
right. And that's exactly what I was about to say. The bullying is not necessary. I mean, trust and believe she's feeling bad enough. She's feeling remorseful enough right about now after all of that. So, yeah, that's not necessary. It's not going to help anybody.
No, it
You
isn't.
know, in this whole situation.
No, it isn't. Bringing it up wasn't going to help a thing.
No.
Okay.
No. So, sorry, Gail, but not sorry. Moving right along.
Still love you, Gail, but
Yeah, not a good idea, dear.
No,
Not
okay.
a good idea. So, let's talk about voting,
yeah.
Elder.
You want to talk about voting?
Let's talk about voting in our president.
Well, first, let's begin with this information. In Ohio, the primary will be St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2020, which gives us ballpark about a month and a week, give or take a day or two. I think we're somewhere around 5 to 6 weeks out.
Yes.
And the real reason why we want to touch bases with that is so many times it comes down to small percentages when people are winning. And if the person win that is not your desire and you did not vote, then that is something you want to take a good look at. Some people have found a way for voting to work for them. That's the reason why there's so many people in that office. Where they can make decisions, where they can swing history, or the mere fact of freedom. Sometimes the lack of freedom or our position of what we think is freedom or should be freedom in a lot of different cases is not fully, I guess, extended or brought to fruition based on the wrong person is there making the decision for so many. And so here we have an opportunity, and I always tell people this all the time. It's not so much a general election, that's a trickle-down moment, but those elections where it has something to do in your own backyard, your midterm elections, your elections where the senators and Congress people are making decisions about your life, about your community. I.e., let's look at the vote for Article 1 and Article 2 of the impeachment process and impeachment trial, of which it was all along party lines. And I'm sure there were some of those who were somewhat disenchanted or betrayed based on how they wanted their person to come out and vote indifferently.
Right.
You know, sometimes you got to think about that. You know, well, how was your vote? You know, sometimes your vote starts with you, like charity starts at home. You know, you must make sure that you are in the position to vote, and then think about those things as these things come down the line.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching a little bit about the impeachment process, and I'm sorry, but I have to say this, Elder, because I don't understand it.
Okay.
Especially in the African American community, because we know that Trump has a lot of our votes.
Yeah.
And I don't understand, after we have come so far, but yet we're still fighting as African Americans, how we can vote for someone whose track record is proven, everything about him. How do we get here?
Well, let's take a look at that. Let's take that around the block for a moment. A lot of people understand freedom and imprisonment differently.
Mm-hmm.
The sadness, and I think that we're on the same page, is that we have to realize that sometimes we're in prison thinking that we're free. I always liken it to that great icon Michael Jackson, how he would moonwalk. You know his body is moving, you would look like it's going forward, but it's going backwards.
Right.
Reverse! Reverse!
And metaphorically, I think that's where we are at the voting situation, particularly as it relates to Trump. He has said several times, let's make America great again. I think there's an awful sign in that.
Yeah. Well, you know, everybody has informed decision, right?
Yes,
You've been
ma'am.
informed.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can make, I should say, you can make informed decisions with what you see. It's in your face, you know, and so it's up to us as a people. You know, and it's not just African American people, but as a people, it makes me wonder with us though, because of, like I said, where we've come from and where we still are, you know, what we still fight for every single day. But as a people, we should be able to make a better informed decision on who we allow in office, you know, on who we are supporting.
Absolutely, Tonda.
So yeah, I'm just baffled with, let's move on. Let's
What are you
move
going to
on.
talk about now,
Let's
Tonda?
talk about this Super Bowl.
Whoa.
I heard that, and I didn't watch the Super Bowl this year.
You didn't?
No. Sometimes I watch it and sometimes I don't. But you know, I've been in a place and I don't want to watch it. So
Okay.
I watched some highlights though on social media, and I did get to see the halftime show. And first of all, let me do this because, and I'm going to speak on this because I'm just proud of Jennifer Lopez.
I am
because
too.
She is 50 years old
Isn't that something?
and looking mighty fine and still moving like she's 25.
Mm-hmm.
So she's taking very good care of herself. And so I applaud her for that.
Yeah.
Just as a woman, okay?
Mm-hmm.
She's still living her dream.
I applaud her as a man.
I applaud her that. I bet you do. I bet you many men applaud her
Yes, indeed.
as a man.
Yeah.
But she, just in a nutshell, I'm so proud of her for what she is still doing as a 50-year-old woman. You go, J-Lo.
Yes.
Now, on another note, I hear that the show that she and Shakira did was kind of very provocative and very much out there. Now, from what I understand, because I saw her interview, she is saying that, you know, they are both mothers and they didn't do anything that could jeopardize their motherhood or whatever, but what they were doing was embracing their Latino culture, and they were embracing the fact that they're women and they're out here to win it, you know, and they did their thing.
Yeah.
They don't feel like they did anything wrong, and they were celebrating basically their culture.
Yeah.
So I hear that you say something different because you saw everything.
Well, I'm gonna keep it a million. Last week, I looked at the halftime show and I thought, oh, I don't know where I need to see all that. I'm just keeping it a million.
Amen.
But now 25 years ago, and especially things are accepted in 2020 that wasn't accepted in the year 2000
Right.
or maybe 1990. Had we saw this show 25 years ago, let's just go back to 1995, and you know, I just taken another view.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah, but now seeing this show in 2020, I'm beginning to think, should I really be looking at this in this form of fashion? Because I saw some moves, I saw some thrusting, and I couldn't help from see it because there wasn't much on the women. You know,
Right.
the ladies were not covered
Right.
as we are come accustomed to. Now I got to admit, those outfits and everything look good, but did I really need to see them? That's my question.
As a pastor or as a man?
As a pastor first, as a man And as a father,
Okay.
you know, and like I said, I'm gonna keep it a million, 20, 25 years ago, and I might have thought about this differently.
Right.
But now at this stage, I'm thinking, let's try to do something better with our children. Okay,
Because they watch too.
yeah, they watch too. And that's my major concern. Again, some of those things, I always take what is private and what is a community event. And there was a lot of private things that were being seen in the community. I put it like that.
Okay. And that's a fair observation. It's a fair opinion, because there's, like I said, there's two sides. There's people that thought it was great, it was awesome, especially for J-Lo's age. I don't know how old Shakira is, but Shakira did a phenomenal job as well. But then there's other people that said, our children watch this. It was just a little bit much for the children. And I heard that J-Lo's daughter was on stage.
Yeah, I think she came on and sang a verse or something.
Okay.
But she was definitely part of the show.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's different observations on it. And hey, it is what it is. We all can have our opinions, right? Right.
And plus, the best team didn't win.
That's right. Kansas City, as a matter of fact, Kansas City has not won the Super Bowl since Super Bowl number 4.
It was a number 4?
Number 4.
I thought it was number 1.
No,
But
number 4.
It was number 4.
I saw it, yep.
Yeah, I think San Francisco was the better team. But in most cases, when you get in tight and you have the best of the best facing each other, it's the best prepared team. And
that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Those who are prepared for the conditions, and that Kansas City was prepared to come from behind, and they did.
Okay. Well, hats off to Kansas City. We just came from Kansas City in
Yes,
October,
we did.
right?
I was singing that song too, and they sang part of the game. Kansas City.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah,
Oh, man,
I said that, and I said, "Oh, there goes my song."
Oh, man, I missed it. But yeah, congratulations to them. And I guess we can look forward to the Super Bowl next year and see what the halftime is going to bring.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So, with that being said, we are going to end the show.
Yes.
And on a good note. And we're going to keep moving forward.
We will.
We're going to keep being positive and speaking life.
There you go.
Right?
That's it.
Right.
See you next time.
Good night. Like the page. Make sure you go out and like our Facebook page if you haven't. Also go out to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you hit that little bell too, so that every time we post,